My name is Alexis Cooley, and I am with the Pittsburgh Fringe. This is the 10th anniversary of the Pittsburgh Fringe, and in celebration of that fact, we are here with the Artist Spotlight, focusing on the artists who are bringing you shows to the 10th anniversary Pittsburgh Fringe and who are part of the Fringe world in general. Some of you may recognize my next guest, if depending on the order of these videos. I've had the opportunity, the distinct pleasure of speaking with him before, but now we're going to speak with him about his, I guess, more solo project. And so I'd like to introduce to you Alan Irvine, Storyteller. He's here with his show, Shakespeare Stories. And Alan, I'm so excited to see you again. Hi, how are you?
Hi, yeah, good to see you again.
You look fabulous. What a wonderful day. So you are part of another show in the Fringe, but we're going to focus at this time on Shakespeare Stories. Can you tell us just a little bit about this production?
Absolutely. So this is my solo show of stories. So it's Shakespeare plays, but adapted into storytelling. And a number of them are adapted way down to be very quick, funny tales. Several of them have been created to happen as sort of pre-shows before an actual full-length production. With a company called Pittsburgh Shakespeare in the Parks that I work with. So for example, one is my 5-minute version of Romeo and Juliet, which is done kind of at a breakneck pace. And we've got all 10 of the history plays into one story. And then one or two are, one or two are kind of longer stories that are designed from the beginning to be standalone and kind of got their beginnings in Renaissance festivals and places like that years ago. So it's probably about 4 or 5 different stories. They're all fun, doing kind of all comedies or at least comedic take. Hamlet's in there, but it's not the dark brooding Hamlet that you would expect.
Is it Hamlet if it's is it Hamlet if it's not dark and brooding?
Well, it's Hamlet for beginners. They say, it's not really confusing, just maybe.
Maybe. So it sounds like you do a lot of work in the community, because I know your work with Brawling Bard Theater. And you just mentioned, I'm sorry, could you say it again? Is it the Pittsburgh Shakespeare in the Park?
So it's one of our kind of medium-sized theater companies here in Pittsburgh.
Wow. So you're doing a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my main things, particularly in the theater world, is a lot with Shakespeare stuff.
That's wonderful. I'm really excited about that. So can you tell us, so you kind of hinted that the gestation of this, or the kernel of how this show grew, came from performing little pre-show bits and possibly in Renaissance festivals, but what drew you to these stories or telling stories in this form?
Well, I've done stuff with the Pittsburgh Fringe since the beginning, like every couple of years, and was thinking, because it's the 10th anniversary, I knew I wanted to be part of the 10th, and so I was just thinking, what have I not done, and what can I sort of pull together that would be a fun show. And of course, I'm doing stuff, as we mentioned, with Brawling Bard, which is always sort of Shakespeare based. So it was kind of a natural bit to say, I've never done the Shakespeare stories. I've always wanted to put together a collection of several of these stories to kind of all do in one program. So this was the chance to do that.
Oh, I'm so excited. So how long is the show?
The show should be about between 60 and 70 minutes, depending on the exact mix of stories that ends up being part of it. So
excellent.
It's scheduled for 70, just to cover if we end up on the long side.
Well, you got to hold for some of your laughs and stuff too,
yep.
For some audience reaction. And what is the rating of this show?
I put it in as sort of a PG. I don't think there's anything that's not appropriate for kids, but just because we're doing a bunch of stories, so really, I've had kids as young as 4 and 5 come to listen to some of these stories and love them. So, but PG is just there. So if you've got kids, to kind of think about it, say, yeah, are my kids going to sit for 4 or 5 stories? And if so, sure. But just it's there to say, yeah, just it's not necessarily designed for kids. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yep, I really like that. Just acknowledging that some kids it's going to be fine, and some adults it's not. They need to know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is wonderful. Are you performing live?
Yeah, so it's a live show, and just the one show as well. So
Okay, just one. So that means it's really important. I'm just going to take a moment to acknowledge that it's the 10th anniversary of the Pittsburgh Fringe. The Fringe runs April 26th through the 30th, and you can get more information about Shakespeare Stories, Alan Irvine Storytellers, Shakespeare Stories at pittsburghfringe.org. I also hope that you'll look below for links to other ways to find Alan and the companies that he works with and the creations that he collaborates on, and stay in touch with him and the other artists that he has the opportunity to work with. So Alan, I want to say thank you again so much for being here today and telling us a little bit more about your show.
oh, and thank you.
Well, remember, you can learn more about this show, Shakespeare Stories, at pittsburghfringe.org as part of the 10th anniversary of the Pittsburgh Fringe. And we hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.